It's a very serious subject for you now. Let's bring it down. Pop music icon Cher is making headlines after 3 of her background dancers were fired from her 2014 Dress to Kill tour. They are suing her for wrongful termination. Now, 3 dancers claim that they were fired after accusing a fellow dancer of sexual assault. But that and another prominent factor in the dismissal was reportedly discrimination. That's the real issue here. Allegedly, during auditions for the tour, Cher told her casting director not to hire an African-American woman because there was too much color on stage and asked for a blonde woman instead. 2 of the dancers involved in the lawsuit are African-American and cite this as the reason for their firing. The 3rd dancer, she claims she was fired because of her advanced age. She was 41. And it's a little rich, isn't it, if Cher's firing someone for their advanced age? Joining me now to discuss this very important topic is S.E. Cupp. S.E., we should start by saying that Cher is denying all of this. But of the many issues involved in this litigation, the Cher's a racist part seems to be getting the most attention. So, I put it to you, is Cher a racist?
Well, look, these are, I don't know what happened, obviously. Cher's denying that element of it, but these are visual shows, right? And if you have height requirements for dancers and probably weight requirements for dancers, I can speak to some experience there as a former dancer. There are weight and height requirements. It would make sense. I wouldn't be offended if the show also had some other physical attribute requirements, one of which being sort of a racial makeup. But who knows? It strikes me, I'm not a lawyer, Will, you are, but it strikes me as a little odd that these guys would offer sort of 3 explanations for why they were fired and basically say, pick one that you find offensive. Maybe it was race, maybe it was that we told on this other dancer, maybe it was age, I don't know. All of this should be enough for you guys. We should not have been fired.
I can't hold that against them. That's kind of the nature of a legal claim. Throw the kitchen sink and see what sticks on these kind of legal claims. But I didn't know where you were going to be either. We didn't talk about this ahead of time, and I have to say, it turns out I agree with you. So this story is remarkably similar to the apparent crisis or scandal that came out of the Atlanta Hawks NBA organization only, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where one of the owners turned himself in for apparently a racist email, where he said we need to do something to make our audience at our games essentially whiter. We need more affluent, whiter attendees to our games. So he said tone down the rap music. I think he said something similar about the dancers to what Cher reportedly said. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the famous Hall of Fame NBAer, said this. He said, Bruce Levinson, that's one of the owners of the Atlanta Hawks, is no Donald Sterling, nor is his email racist. I read Levinson's email. Here's what I concluded. Levinson is a businessman asking reasonable questions about how to put customers in seats. He said, he went on later to say that business owners have a right to appeal to a diverse group in order to increase business. Jason Whitlock, an ESPN writer, African-American ESPN writer, said the same thing. He said, this is what business is. It's identifying an audience and asking how you appeal to that audience. It seems to me Cher's kind of doing the same thing here.
Yeah, if the allegations are true and if that's what was motivating this, absolutely. NASCAR has long been trying to recruit more female fans. And so they ask themselves internally and externally, how do we get more female fans? It might mean toning certain things, certain aspects of our races down and, bringing other aspects out. It's absolutely about expanding a fan base, and no one would consider NASCAR sexist for trying to find ways to bring more female fans into their viewership. If Cher is trying to widen her audience and diversify the look of her backup crew, I would think that that's perfectly acceptable. Yet again, though, if she wanted an all-black backup dancing crew or an all-white backup dancing crew for an aesthetic sort of look that she were going for, look, I mean, again, if you're going to have physical requirements and you're going to put on a show where, what you look like is sort of setting a tone for the cultural experience, I can't tell you which physical attributes that you can decide on.
Yeah, I do sympathize with the dancers to some extent. Look, I've been on television shows where the color of your skin, your gender, all played a very strong role in whether or not you get to remain at that table, remain on that set. So it's certainly disheartening when things that you can't control determine your ability to maintain your job, but such is the world from time to time. You want to talk about this tomorrow?
Such is the world.
Should we talk about this tomorrow?
I don't know. Have you? Do you follow Cher on Twitter? Because you should be.
No.
Her tweets are amazing, nonsensical, stream of consciousness garbage, but really entertaining.
All right, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow on Cain and Cupp on the Blaze Radio Network at 9 a.m. Eastern. Lots of good topics. I'll see you then, S.E.
Okay, see you then.
Eric Holder.